Let us continue metallurgy. In metallurgy, we will see Ellingham diagram. Ellingham diagram we will see. In the Ellingham diagram, we will take in this axis we will take delta G in kilojoule per mole, delta G in kilojoule per mole of O2 per mole of O2, per mole of O2. Okay. Next we will take temperature in this axis. In this axis we will take temperature. Temperature we will take in this axis. Then we will take here this is a temperature axis. It is 0. Delta G is 0 here. That means delta G is negative here. Delta G is positive here. In this Ellingham diagram, delta G is 0 here. Delta G is negative. Delta G is positive. Like this we have taken. Okay. Now we will see the graph. For a magnesium, the graph is like this. For a magnesium, the graph is so and so. It is a which graph in the sense magnesium graph. It is magnesium graph. Next we will see aluminum graph. This is what in the sense aluminum graph. Next we will see chromium graph. Next we are seeing chromium graph. This is what in the sense chromium graph. Next we will see zinc graph. We are seeing zinc graph. Zinc graph. Next we will see carbon monoxide graph. Carbon monoxide graph we will see. Carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide graph. This what means carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide graph. Next we will see iron graph. Next we are seeing iron graph. We are seeing iron graph. Iron into iron oxide, FeO. Fe into FeO graph. Next we will see carbon into carbon dioxide graph. Carbon into carbon dioxide graph. It is carbon into carbon dioxide graph. Carbon into carbon dioxide graph. Next we will see copper into. Next we will see carbon into carbon monoxide graph. This what in the sense carbon into carbon monoxide graph. Carbon into carbon monoxide graph. Next we will see mercury graph. Mercury graph. Mercury graph. Mercury into mercury oxide graph. Next we will see silver graph. For silver, the graph will see for silver. Silver into silver oxide. Silver into silver oxide graph. This is a Ellingham diagram. This is what in the sense Ellingham diagram we can see. So now in the Ellingham diagram, this mercury and silver, delta G becomes positive at lower temperature. Therefore, mercuric oxide and silver oxide decomposes thermally to give mercury and silver, we can see. Now, here, carbon to carbon monoxide is having negative slope. Therefore, now we will take this ion. This ion we will take. At lower temperature, we can use carbon monoxide as a reducing agent to convert FeO into Fe. So, to convert FeO into Fe at low temperature, we can use carbon monoxide as a reducing agent because carbon monoxide is below ion. Then we can convert FeO into Fe by using carbon as a reducing agent at high temperature. Because at high temperature, this carbon into carbon monoxide graph is below this ion. Therefore, we can use it. That means for converting all the metal oxide into metal, we can use carbon as the reducing agent by providing necessary temperature. Why? Because carbon into carbon monoxide is having negative slope. Therefore, carbon into carbon monoxide graph comes below any metal at particular temperature, isn't it? Now see, this carbon into carbon monoxide graph is below magnesium. So to convert magnesium oxide into magnesium, we can use carbon as the reducing agent, provide so and so temperature. To convert aluminum oxide into aluminum, we can use carbon as the reducing agent. So to convert any metal oxide into metal, we can use carbon as the reducing agent because it is having negative slope. But to convert magnesium oxide into magnesium, we can use carbon as the reducing agent. There is no doubt, but you have to provide so and so temperature you have to provide. But what is the drawback? This magnesium will combine with carbon to give what in the sense magnesium propionide, Mg2C3. Magnesium propionide. Thus, magnesium propionide. What is the formula for magnesium propionide? In the sense, propionide formula is this one. Propionide formula is this one. Magnesium ion 2 times you take. So Mg2C3 formula is magnesium propionide. So magnesium combines with the carbon and gives carbide. Therefore, to avoid this reaction, we are not going for converting magnesium oxide into magnesium using carbon as a reducing agent. So what we are doing means magnesium oxide we are converting into magnesium chloride. Then magnesium chloride is taken for electrolysis and we are getting at cathode magnesium because magnesium oxide is insulator. So we are converting this into magnesium chloride, then we are taking for electrolysis and then we are getting a magnesium we are getting. So we are preparing magnesium in this way. So we are not using carbon as the reducing agent because of like this. In the same way, aluminum with carbon gives aluminum carbide. So to avoid that, what we are doing means we are going for electrolysis process. Bauxite ore we are taking that for electrolysis process, all Herold's process. In that at cathode we are getting aluminum. So for ion case, we are using carbon as the reducing agent at a high temperature. This iron oxide is converted into iron, carbon is reducing agent, but at low temperature, carbon monoxide is the reducing agent. Okay. This is about Ellingham diagram. Next, we'll see what are the purification methods. After getting crude metal, to remove impurities, we will go for purification or refining. What are the methods available for that? That we'll see. Purification or refining. One method is called distillation. One method is called distillation, we can say. This distillation means, what is the condition? Metal should have low boiling point. Metal should have low boiling point. Impurity should have high boiling point. Impurity should have high boiling point. Metal should have low boiling point. Impurity should have high boiling point. Then by heating, metal is vaporizing, boiling point is low, so it is easily vaporizing. By condensing this, we can get metal. Impurity is high boiling point, therefore it is not vaporizing, so we can separate. So if metal is having low boiling point and impurity is having high boiling point, means they can be separated by distillation. For this, which metals coming under this category, in the sense in the D block, zinc family comes under this category. Zinc, cadmium, mercury, they have low boiling point. Why they have low boiling point? Means their valence shell, D subshell, is completely filled, so they are not participating in the metallic bonding, therefore they are having low metallic strength, metallic bond strength, therefore they have low boiling point. Okay, next method is liquation. This liquation method, in the sense, what is the condition? Melting point of metal should be low. Metal should have low melting point. Impurity should have high melting point. Impurity should have high melting point. Then we can separate them. In under this category, tin comes under this category. Tin comes under this category. Tin can be purified by liquation method. Next method is electrolytic refining. Next we are going for electrolytic refining. Electrolytic refining. Electrolytic refining, in the sense, which metal we have to purify, that impure metal you take as anode. Which metal you want to purify, that impure metal you take as anode. Impure metal means crude metal, for example impure copper. Then at cathode, what you have to do means pure metal you have to take. Okay, if impure copper is anode, means pure copper is the cathode. Like this you have to take. Then we have to take electrolyte. Electrolyte is what means salt of this one, soluble salt of this one, generally nitrate salt. Otherwise, here copper sulfate we can take. Electrolyte is copper sulfate. It should be acidified. It should be acidified. So add dilute sulfuric acid into this. Dilute, that means acidified copper sulfate solution, is the electrolyte. So which metal you want to purify, that metal in impure form you take as anode. Which metal you are purifying, that pure metal you take as cathode. That metal salt solution acidified form you take as electrolyte. So here what is the cathodic and anodic process, we will see. This copper ion in the electrolyte goes to the cathode and undergoes reduction and becomes copper. So from the electrolyte, copper ion goes to cathode and becomes a copper. Okay, so from the electrolyte, copper ion goes to cathode and becomes copper. Then at anode, what happens means, this copper, in the impure copper is there no copper atoms. This copper undergoes oxidation at anode. That copper undergoes oxidation at anode and becomes what, in the sense, copper ion. This copper ion goes to solution. Okay, so how the electrolytic refining takes place? See, from this copper undergoes oxidation and goes to electrolyte as copper ion. From this copper ion goes to cathode and becomes copper. This is the electrolytic process takes place. Therefore, it is dissolving. It is its size getting raised. Okay, so this copper goes to electrolyte. Here copper ion comes to this place. So in this way, we can purify. This method is called electrolysis, electrolytic refining, we can say. Next method of purification is zone refining. Next method is what means zone refining. Here how we are purifying, that we'll see. In this method what we have to do means which element we want to purify, that element you take in the form of a rod. You take that element in the form of rod. Then you keep coil. You keep coil here. That this coil is what means heating coil. This is heating coil and movable coil. And it is movable and heating coil it is. So keep this coil at this place, at this end. Let this end becomes melt. Let this end melts. This end is melting. Therefore, this end becomes molten. Sir. Then bring the coil from number 1 to number 2. So coil moves from number 1 to number 2. When it is moving from 1 to 2, at 2 it is melting. At 2 melting process starts. At 1 solidification process starts. Solidification process starts. Solidifying. And at 1 solidification starts, going towards solid state, becoming solid. While what happens means impurity travels like this. Impurity travels like this. That pure element travels like this. Pure element, that metal travels like this. Okay, pure element travels like this, impurity travels like this. So when the heating coil moves like this, when the coil moves like this, what happens means impurity moves this side. Impurity moves this side. Pure element, pure metal moves this side. Pure metal or pure element moves this side. Therefore, on repeating the process like this, at last this end will become what, in the sense impurity. We can bring all the impurities to the end. This is a pure element. This part is pure element. Like this we can make. That means here solubility of impurity is high in the melt. Solubility of element is high in the here. Like this we are, like it is the principle. What is the principle for this? In the sense solubility of impurity is higher than pure metal in the melt. Here impurity should have high solubility. Pure element should have less solubility here. That is the principle. Sir, here we got the pure element we got. This is coming under ultra pure because purity is much more. Therefore, ultra pure metal we can get here. Ultra pure metal we can get here. In this method, which and all we can purify in the sense boron, gallium, indium, silicon, germanium. This is a third year group: boron, aluminum, gallium, indium, thallium. It is fourth group: carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. It is coming under fourth group. It is coming under third group. These elements can be purified by this zone refining method. Okay. Next, we will go for a vapor phase refining. Next method is what means vapor phase refining. Vapor phase refining. This method will take. In this one, two processes are there. One is called Mons process. One is called Mons process. Here, what we are taking in the sense impure nickel we are taking. Impure nickel we are taking. Impure nickel. It is treated with carbon monoxide gas at which temperature? In the sense 330 to 350 Kelvin. 330 to 350 Kelvin. This nickel combining with carbon monoxide and becomes nickel tetracarbonyl. It is vapor. Nickel tetracarbonyl vapor we are getting. Impurity is not going for reaction. It is solid. So we can separate them. Now at this temperature it is stable. Then this vapor we are taking. This vapor is taken to temperature 450 to 470 Kelvin. Now it is decomposing to give nickel and carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide is gas that is separated from this pure nickel. So we got this pure nickel, we got this process is called a Mons process, we can say. Next we will go for a Van Erkel method. Van Erkel method, it is also vapor phase refining. Van Erkel method. In this method we are taking zirconium, impure zirconium we are taking, impure zirconium we are taking. To this we are adding iodine, in the both are taken in evacuated vessel. Both are taken in evacuated vessel and it is heated. Now here what we have taken in the sense, we have taken zirconium, then zirconium in the iodine order treat pandro evacuated vessel. So what we are getting in this one, we are getting zirconium tetraiodide, which is gas and also stable. In this reaction, impurity is not reacting at all. Impurity is not reacting, it remains as solid. So zirconium metal reacting with iodine and gives zirconium tetraiodide, which is stable. Impurity is not at all reacting. So we can separate them because it is gas and solid. Then this zirconium tetraiodide is passed over tungsten filament. And taken to temperature 1800 Kelvin. It decomposes to give pure zirconium and iodine will get. So this method is called Van Erkel method. In this method, what are the other elements can be purified? That is titanium. Titanium with iodine gives titanium tetraiodide that decomposes to give pure titanium. Then another element can be purified is crude boron is converting into boron triiodide that on decomposition gives a pure boron, we can say. Next method is a chromatography method. Using this method, how to purify the crude elements, that we'll see. By which method? In the sense adsorption technique. Here, this chromatography method, when we have to come for chromatography method, if the substance is available in the minute quantity, and another one is impurity and the element is not having much chemical properties difference, then we can come for purification by chromatography. Okay, so when we have to come for chromatography means if the substance available in minute quantity, then substance and impurity no chemical properties difference, then we can come for chromatography method for purifying. Okay, next we are going for polling method. This in the polling method, how we are purifying by polling method, we'll see. We are taking a vessel like this. In this vessel we are taking molten impure metal we'll take molten impure metal we are taking. Then we will keep a green wood pole. We are keeping a green wood pole. We are keeping green wood pole. Then we are keeping over the surface. We are keeping carbon powder. Over this surface. Carbon powder we are keeping. Now, here how purification takes place, that we'll see. Here, which metal we are purifying means copper, for example. Impurity is cuprous oxide. Impurity is what means metal oxide is the impurity. Like this we'll take. Metal oxide is the impurity. Now, here what happens means this green wood pole releases hydrocarbon. This green wood pole releases hydrocarbon. That hydrocarbon converts this metal oxide into metal. Then what is the necessity of this carbon powder means this metal will not go for atmospheric air oxidation. Due to carbon powder, it is not in contact with atmospheric air, so it cannot go for oxidation. So this method is used for converting the impurity own metal oxide into metal. So which metals and all can be purified by this method in the sense copper and tin. So in this Pauling method, if the impurity is own metal oxide, then we can come for this Pauling method. This green wood pole releases hydrocarbon. That hydrocarbon converts this metal oxide into metal. This carbon powder prevents oxidation of this metal. Next method we will see. Next method is cupellation. Next method is cupellation. Okay. In this method, we will take the which metal we are purifying means silver metal. Impurity is what in the sense lead. Here impurity is lead. Silver metal we are purifying from the impurity lead. We are taking a vessel. That vessel is called cupel. That is made up of bone ash. That is made up of bone ash. Then we will blow air into this molten metal. Into this molten metal we are passing air. So we are blowing air. What happens means because of air, this impurity lead is converting into lead oxide, which can be removed. What is the remaining means molten silver is remaining. So this method of purification is called a cupellation. So which impurity can be removed in this method means the impurity which can be easily oxidized. The impurity which can be easily oxidized can be removed by this method. So example for this is silver. Impurity lead can be removed by this method. So these are the concentration methods for purifying the crude metal.